So, thank you for joining the live today. So, today actually I have started this live for a special reason. There have been a lot of mental health issues that are actually revolving around relationships. So, that is one reason for which I asked you all to put up your queries and आपको जो पूछना है आप पूछ सकते हो. Ask away. I'm comfortable both in English and Hindi. So, in whichever language you want to talk, you can talk to me. You can ask any queries, any questions regarding relationships, and I will just start away with the very basic and beginning of how relationship matter in our day-to-day life. So, basically, in today's life, our life is going very dynamic, and our relationships are no more our personal paradigm because they affect more of our personal and professional, our social, every way in which we live today. It's affected by our relationships somewhere. And I think all those who have been in a relationship can actually understand what I'm talking about here and how relationships actually can sometimes make you, or if they do not work, they can also break you mentally, emotionally, physically. So, let us actually deal with some of the very common questions which I have come across. So, the first question is the very reason of being married. Okay, somebody asked, is it important to actually be in a relationship or to get married? So, no, actually, in my understanding of relationships and in my understanding of the cases that I have seen regarding relationships, I have always been a practitioner of one thing, and I really believe that relationships are a very subjective topic. So, what a relationship means to me and what I need in a relationship might not be what you need in a relationship, right? So, it varies from person to person and it varies on your expectations on what actually you're looking for in a relationship, in a partner. Whether you're looking for a romanticism, whether you're looking for a partnership, whether you're looking for security, whether you're looking for travel together, or something else that might be on your list. That actually depends on whether you need a relationship or what kind of people you need in a relationship or what would be your expectation particularly with respect to your partner while you are in a relationship. So to answer this question, I would say no, it is not important to get married or to be in a relationship because it is actually dependent on what you're looking for, and if you can actually satisfy that need individually by yourself, then I don't think it is a requirement that you need to get into any relationship. So it is a very subjective kind of a choice that we have there. Another question is, do you believe in soulmates and is perfect partnership possible? Well, personally, I do not believe in soulmates because that is not a very practical approach of seeing relationship. But yes, perfect partnership can exist. That I agree because what I believe is that no relationship or no two people are perfect for each other. Like in the beginning, it may seem that you find something in a person that you really are charmed by, or that you feel that your heart actually was longing for, or you were actually waiting for that to happen, and this person is actually offering you that. But gradually, as you go through the journey of a relationship, you realize that there are this actually the initial spark is not the only thing that is going to come up with this relationship. There are much more things that you will face in a relationship. It can be challenges, there will be conflicts, there will be arguments, there will be times where you would not actually agree on anything that you want your partner to do, or you would not want to do something your partner is so much interested and enthusiastic about. And so sometimes people feel that, okay, if this person was my soulmate, they should exactly be, aligning with my interest. They should just align with what actually I believe in or what I'm looking for. And if it is not like that, that means it is not that soulmate criteria, and let us not consider this as a perfect relationship, and they leave the relationship and walk out and move on to the next relationship. Now, the thing is, it's very subjective to say when to break up in a relationship, and it is completely no, not standardized whether when your requirements actually are not being met, whether it is right for you to leave or whether you should stay in that relationship. That is again something, a very subjective dimension, which depends on the people which are involved in the relationship. But in general, there is no concept of soulmate, and I say so because soulmates actually, that concept itself gives you a perfect picture. And so far, in my experience and my understanding, in my experience with clients in general and in life and practically, it is not possible for anyone to be in a perfect situation all the time. There will be points where the situation will not be perfect. There will be time when you will feel your partners are not perfect, where they're not behaving a certain way, they are not meeting your expectations, or probably they're not able to understand where you're coming from. But does that mean that your relationship is not a perfect relationship? I think we need to think about that, because personally, I feel it is not a relationship that is perfect, or it is not the two people who are perfect for each other. It is how they actually grow together in the relationship and how they make the relationship perfect is what actually matters. Two people, if they understand each other and if they actually have care and concern for the other person and for the relationship itself, then they can walk through any thorny path, and no matter how difficult the situation and circumstances be, they will still be able to survive and live up to that situation and walk through the path of that journey happily. So that is where the relationship turns out to be perfect. It was not because two people were perfect for each other. So, yes, relationships are not perfectly made, they are made perfect by the effort of both the person. Another important point which I would like to emphasize here, which I feel is important for us to understand when we actually talk about this relationship paradigm, is to understand how important is communication in a relationship. So, most of the time, we feel things are not supposed to be said in a relationship, they are meant to be understood, right? So, you might believe that your partner should understand what you actually are thinking, or if you actually bring an issue towards them, they probably would react, or they probably will not act in favor, and so it will end up in an argument or in a conflict, and you tend to avoid that. But I would say, even if it is a conflict, even if it is an argument, even if it is something that you do not agree to, or something which you feel you are not able to see through your partner's eyes, even then it is very important for a relationship to be healthy, to actually, for the two people to actually communicate to each other. So, just, instead of actually thinking and keeping it inside you, just express it out, just talk it out, just talk to your partner about what you're feeling, what you're going through, what probably was it that you were expecting, and what actually you got in return, which might not sound well with you, or which actually you felt was not very up to the mark for you personally. You need to communicate it to the other person, because yes, I understand that in the idea of a romantic relation is actually more towards two people, you know, living a similar life, like living together, and that togetherness sometimes um, does not let us see that the other person is, you know, apart from being a partner, also an individual. So it is possible that there will be times where their opinion, no matter how similar their ideology otherwise is to us, there can be a point that they do not agree to what you are saying, that they probably do not think the same, they probably have a different view, they probably have a conflicting view to yours. And at that point, I think that some people, feel a little detached, that okay, we were supposed to be one, but here we are having a difference. So does that mean we are not perfect for each other? I think it is too fast to reach to that conclusion, because again, it is about also remembering that the other person has an identity and they also are acting and operating as an individual in addition to being your partner. So it is okay for them to have a dissent. It's okay for them to have a different choice, different view, different liking than yours. I think we need to understand that individuality dimension and give the other person equal respect as an individual as much as we give them as being our partners. So, coming to the next question now. Um, what is exactly a toxic relationship and what is a successful relationship? Well, a relationship turns toxic when your expectations are not met in the relationship. When, for example, I think toxic is a huge word. So it usually happens when you are either abused emotionally, physically, mentally in a relationship, or you are just not able to be in that relationship happily, or you're not able to sustain that relationship. That is where it becomes actually toxic. And usually that is not a very common thing, because people in relationship do have dissents, they do have arguments, and sometimes they do also have breakups. But for things to go toxic, that means something really went wrong in that relationship, which again can be because of variety of issues, and it can actually depend on that particular relationship. So we will not go into much detail about why it becomes toxic. But yes, if you feel emotionally, mentally, or physically harassed in a relationship, then you might be in a toxic relationship, and then you might need to address this with your partner. And if possible, you can take the help of a mental health therapist, which can actually help you understand and, if possible, make the relationship work. If not in your interest, help you exist without the relationship. Either way, that will actually be the correct approach in that direction. About relationship being successful, again, I told you it is no relationship is perfect. So the success of a relationship particularly depends on the effort and understanding of both the partners. So it cannot be like, sometimes in some relationships it so happens that one person is the one who's actually trying, understanding, giving, and it is more one sidedly. Such relationships also sometimes become difficult to sustain, because as individuals we all have our expectations in relations. That is why we come in a relationship. That is why it is called a partnership. And if you're not getting that support and that required expectation met from your partner, you might also feel burdened or emotionally dissatisfied in that relationship. So, a single partner pulling the thread will not take the relationship long. So, for the relationship to be successful, the effort, the understanding, and the concern should actually come from both the sides. Thank you, Ankit. So, that is about the relationship being successful. Okay, another question says, why are relationships so unstable in today's world? Okay, this is very interesting thing to actually see. In today's life, we are seeing that relationships are turning very unstable. Okay, and apart from other reasons and the subjective reasons that might be responsible to the fallout in the relationships, there is something common, and that common thing is the options, the choices available. So in today's world, it's very easy to find a date. Saying talking about interfaces like Bumble, Tinder, and so many others, where you can meet new people. Even social media platforms, you can meet people, you can start getting to know other people, and you can start off a romantic relationship quite easily. So because we have so many choices, at times we do not realize that that choice actually leads somewhere to the instability. Because what happens is that when we have a choice, we do not want to really sustain long term hardships in the present choice. So if a relationship becomes too exhausting, and if you feel that okay, इसमें आगे जाके काम करना पड़ेगा, the person might go for other options, because they might think that there are other choices available. So why to keep trying here? Like, I have options, let me explore other options, or let me go for other options. Well, that approach cannot be again stable approach in a long term, because any relationship, no matter how perfect it seems in the beginning, or how romantic it seems, or how similar and how soulmatey feeling you feel in the beginning, there will be a point where it will come to a path where you will need to put effort, where either things will become too monotonous, or you will feel that okay, it's not the same. The person is losing interest, you are losing interest, so many other things and dimensions can come up. So no, it is not the case कि choices ज़्यादा होने की वजह से relationship में कुछ difference आएगा. Eventually choices की वजह से आप starting तो easily कर सकते हो, but to sustain the relationship will again require an effort. So that is one thing that is happening, that people are not able to understand. And जैसे ही relationship start होता है, and then it becomes a little bit challenging. Some people, not all people, but some people might think कि, okay, because the choices are available, they might go for that choice, and they might not want to work as hard in this relationship because of the choices present. So that is one reason in today's world. Also, I feel that we are kind of stepping to a very dynamic era where we are accepting new things, we are welcoming new approaches, new ideology. So we are also looking for ideas of, which can actually lead us to happiness, and ideas like polygamy and other kind of ways are also taking a notice in today's world. And people more want to be happy, they want to be at peace, they want to stay happy. And so they sometimes kind of even try want to experiment, just enjoy, or do things for fun. And that also sometimes go down that road. Although it is again subjective, if that works for you, it's absolutely good, because as a psychologist, I would say that there is no correct or incorrect thing. uh, I always believe there is something which is right for you. It is just that, okay, it is there is no standard कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, या this is right or this is wrong. If it is right, if it works for you, if you are satisfied, then that is the right choice for you, simply. But it is seen that in long term, if you're not fixated on one choice, if you are clear about what you want in life, in relationships, and if you are going towards that, it will you know possibly lead into the right direction. But if you're not clear about what you want, if you're not clear about your expectations, your ideas, and you're just browsing around, and you are just actually not able to put your mind on what is it that is important for you, then you might actually end up, going into unstable relations, or you might see challenges in relationships. So I feel personally, as an individual in today's world, what is important and what can actually be a protective thing to do is to be very clear about what you're looking for. Your expectations should be actually clear to yourself first, instead of just going after the standard, typical idealized Cinderella stories. Let us focus on what is important for us, whether it is respect that you are seeking from your partner, whether it is financial security you're seeking, whether it is emotional support that you're seeking, whether it is social support that you're seeking, anything that you are seeking, and that is important for you, and that actually makes you feel that you will lead you in a successful relationship, is actually what you should be clear about, and that is what you should look in your partner. And once you start looking like that, you will be in a satisfied relationship, and you will know that okay, what is important for me, that wish is fulfilled. Most of the time we lived in these very generalized dimensions, about looks, about a certain way that the person should look, the certain type of job they should be at, and all these kind of things. And because everyone in the society or around us is following that norm, we also tend to actually jump into the bandwagon, and we start thinking that okay, maybe that is what we want. But it is when we come into that relationship or that marriage that we realize that we are not happy or we are not satisfied, apart from the standards being met. That is because you have not actually gained clarity about what was your requirement, and you kind of believed in the generalized notion more than actually knowing whether that is what you want, or whether that was important for you. Because sometimes we feel okay, good looks, everybody says that good looking people are actually what everyone want, or somebody who is in a stable career, or somebody who is a very confident person, maybe that is the right approach to, because it works for everyone, maybe that will work for me. But personally I can tell you that most of the things, especially when it comes to our choices, they are more tailored as per our subjective requirements than being general. So some things might work for everyone around you, but it still might not work for you. So we have to be very clear and very real with our own self first, in realizing what exactly are we looking for, what is our expectation. That question, once answered, will actually smooth your path to actually figure out the rest of the journey, and to find out the person, to be with them. It will actually make the whole journey for you an easier one. So it is very important to first have the clarity about your own expectations. Okay, there is a question. As you said, good relationship must be a two-way process. Is it ever worked unilateral way? Um, Unilaterally, relationships, in terms of partnership, they can work, I would say, but they will work for the picture, for the society. We, for example, in Indian society, I would like to say that many marriages, or many people stay in the marriage because of various other reasons than their own desire to be in that relationship. So for the sake of the relationship, they might appear to be stable, they might appear to actually stay intact, but personally, for the person, whether the person actually is happy in that relationship, or whether the person themselves is actually satisfied in that relationship, that is a little difficult if the process is going unilaterally. Because as I told you, एक person, एक individual की giving capacity की भी limit होती है. Because see, the basic thing is, if we can live independently, and if we are self sufficient, we would not go in a relationship, right? You are coming into a relationship with certain expectation. That is the whole point of being in a relationship with someone. तो अगर आपको वो सपोर्ट या वो एक्सपेक्टेड बिहेवियर नहीं मिल रहा है सामने से, तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल फील डिसअपॉइंटेड, यू विल फील disheartened, you will feel hurt, and after a point it will become difficult for you to sustain all that. या तो you will end your expectations, or you will just become like okay, I accept however it is, and this is how I have to live. Then it can work. Or if you really want to enjoy being in the relationship, if you really want to be happy in that relationship, then I think the best way is to communicate to your partner about your expectations. Because sometimes, especially in the cases of arranged marriages, or where people do not know each other for very long, there is this thing that people don't understand each other's expectations. So even if you are thinking that it is obvious that everyone does that, what is it that I have to say? Even then, it might become actually difficult for the other person to comprehend, because we all have our different, way of understanding. You cannot understand everything I cannot understand everything you can. So we all understand differently. So there is a variation there. So we have to understand that the other person is also an individual who has a different approach of living, looking at things, of perception, of, they can have their own choices, interests, and their own opinions, basically, because of their individuality. So you need to communicate better to them what you are looking for and what is actually coming to you and how you would probably like them to act. And if the person is supportive and understanding, and if they are able to see where you're coming from, and if they're actually ready to cater that for you, that is the perfect way of the relationship to work, and it will work. So yes, bilateral way is a way where the relationship will work in a very healthy manner. And in unilateral one, I think one person always is the one who's giving too much, so it can be stressful for that one person. But for the sake of the relationship, it might still look stable, but from inside, that person would still be in stress. So to avoid that, the best way is when the approach is bilateral. And for that also, I think I have already said communication is the key. So I'll again emphasize that communication in a relationship is very important, whether it is you expressing your conflict, whether it is you saying something you feel your partner will find negative, or whether you're criticizing anything. Just communicate to the partner, just let them know what you're feeling, how you're feeling, so that the other person also is aware about what is happening, and it gives them also a fair chance to actually address those concerns. One thing about communication here I would like to point out at is that sometimes, especially in a relationship, because um, so much emotions are involved, and so we are so attached to the relationships, we are so attached to our partners, that we kind of while communicating, we probably can be little um, negative, I would say, little bit cynical, little bit critical. That is not because we don't love them or we want to hurt them, but sometimes we might say hurtful things and we might not realize because we say it out of anger, but it might hit the other person very much. So for a good communication, it is always important for you to remember not to communicate when you are angry. So that is one advice that I will give. If something has happened in a relationship, if you are not liking a certain way your partner is behaving, or if something else has happened which is making you feel angry, just wait and calm down until you are settled and stable. And then once you are stable, then you go to your partner and have a discussion. And remember, there is a difference between having a discussion and an argument. If you end up having an argument, the other person will become defensive. And when the person will become defensive, they will just keep defending themselves, and they will not understand you and your perspective as well as they would have otherwise. So, it is important for you to always have a discussion in a way that you are being respectful to the person. You are trying to put your views and your expectations forward, but at the same time, you are being respectful to the other person. ऐसा नहीं कि you are just argumenting कि you did not do this, and you do not care about me, and you are not a good person, you are not a good partner. All these critical things which we sometimes utter in anger might not be the right kind of communication, especially when it comes to relationships, because we have to understand that however much you are connected and bonded to the person, the other person is also that much connected to you. So harsh words, critical words coming from somebody you actually care about, somebody you actually love so much, can be hurtful sometimes. And it can also sometimes lead to trauma for a person, guilt feeling, and it will just take the whole situation on a downhill. So it is an advice that if whenever you feel like you are stable or you are able to actually, contain yourself, calm yourself down, then go and have a discussion. Don't go with an idea of an argument. Have a discussion, understand and respect the fact that okay, the person is a human and they can make mistake. It's okay if they have made mistake. Probably they have a reason for that. Instead of just critically examining them, I think it is the better view to actually giving them the space to put their view forward, to actually uh, defend themselves, to actually help you understand why they did a certain way, or probably to make you see their perception. So for that to happen in a communication is, I think, very important for a relationship to be healthy. So anything else if you guys have, you can ask me. I wanted to keep this discussion brief. I just wanted to address the issue regarding relationship. If you want, we can have discussions and lives about relationship and or any other topic that you guys suggest sometimes in the future. But I was actually seeing a lot of mental health distresses coming out because of relationship issues. So I wanted to just give a concern to this matter and give basic tips. So I hope today's discussion actually would kind of help some way in making you understand how it is not always a smooth journey, how sometimes we need to give an effort, we need to work in relationship after everything is done also. But if you care about a person, if you actually care about the relationship, this is something which you will naturally do. So more than anything, communicate, and communicate in a healthy manner, in a respectful manner to your partner, and I think that will be very helpful. So if there is any other question, you can post. Otherwise, you can text me or leave me any query or any message regarding this or any other mental health issue. And if possible, I will inform you when I'll come next live and we'll take up that query. So I don't think you guys have any question. So I will not take much of your time and I'll end the live today. Thank you everyone for joining. And please take care of yourself. Please take care of your relationships, because as I emphasized in the beginning, they are not only personally our business, they also affect us socially, professionally, and in every other way possible. So I wish you all a very happy and healthy and blessed relationship if you are in. And if you are not, I wish the same for you when you are in. So till then, please take care and be well all. Bye bye.